Assassin's Creed Shadows is even worse than I could have actually hoped for. So Ubisoft somehow made this game's story writing so terrible beyond anyone's expectations, to the point that they hired lawyers in preparation for the game's launch to sue any harsh critics who they deem are harassing the development team over their criticisms of the game or stuff like that. Now, one thing I'd like to make mention of before I talk about why the game is bad is the video I made back a couple months ago when Ubisoft first revealed that Yasuke was going to be a playable character in the game. I said that having him in the game wasn't automatically going to be the reason why the game would have been bad. In hindsight now, we know the game is terrible, but let me just hear me out. Back then, right, I honestly didn't care if they wanted to use a historical figure from the past for a game that is grounded in historical fiction, not historical accuracy. Now, I don't think I made that clear in the video, seeing as how some people were trying to explain to me how Assassin's Creed games are known for being historically accurate, which is factually incorrect. The difference between the two is simple. When something in media is historically accurate, its goal is to present past historical events with facts, evidence, research, and biographies in order to educate the audience on what happened in reality during that time, whereas historical fiction tends to use past historical events and figures as backdrop material for a fictional narrative. That being said, I believe that when making a game, movie, book, and etc., that if you are going to tell a story about a time period, feudal Japan in this instance, that you have a responsibility to get as much of the historical setting as close as possible to the real thing as you can reasonably get, because if you don't, then it's not going to make for a good story, in my opinion. And also, that's usually when it tends to just kind of be disrespectful towards the history and kind of just trash on it. And that's where I believe Ubisoft fucked up with Yasuke, but with the whole game in general as well. You know, they say hindsight is 2020, and that's where most of you guys who told me in the comments that Ubisoft was only adding Yasuke to the game as a DEI fulfillment, and that was not good for the game. And I agree with you, because his character was used very poorly in this game, and the only notable thing about his character is how he banged Nabunaga's sister. I mean, come on, the jokes write themselves, man. At this point, I've heard jokes of like NTR and for this fucking situation. All the people who have played this game say that Yasuke's moveset just feels clunky and out of place for an Assassin's Creed game, and his addition to the game pretty much does nothing overall for the narrative, which was already shit to begin with. So I think it's safe to say that Ubisoft adding Yasuke to the game was nothing more than a PR move for DEI and inclusivity, which failed miserably in the end. Moving on to the other things that make this game bad. First of all, this game had a budget of $250 to $350 million just to have the worst voice acting I've ever seen. Like, what the fuck is this voice line?
Resentment can grow quietly without much warning after a storm. Mushrooms can too. Shiitake?
Why is he saying it like it's a question? What? I mean, it does have a question mark, but like, who speaks like that in real life? With this voice acting, a lot of people had like this conspiracy running around that apparently they might have used AI to do the voice acting. But even then, I think AI does a better job than this still. So clearly they just hired either the worst voice actors in history, or it was just the director for the voice acting that told them to speak like this for whatever reason. So I guess we'll never know now, but what we do know is that this shit is bad, okay? And remember, they could have easily hired better voice actors with a budget of 250 million at least. So don't try to cope and say some stupid shit like, oh, why does the quality of the voice acting matter for NPCs? You're not gonna hear the voice all the time. That excuse doesn't work when the game being voiced is a AAA game where the expectations are going to be high. Bad voice acting with a mediocre narrative will make this game unbearable to sit through. Now, I can't confirm this one for myself, but I heard that there was a problem with like the physics for the fence in the game, and but personally I haven't seen clips of it yet, but I just thought I'd let you know in case. And if somebody does know what's going on with the physics, you know, go ahead and comment that just to let me know and let everybody else know. And the last thing that I want to touch on is the main protagonist, Naoe, I think that's how you say her name, being bisexual. And in case you didn't know, this game has romance, and while usually a little romance in the story is fine, in this case it doesn't work nor help with its with the history story setting, because bisexual in this game just doesn't work. First of all, they should have just used a male character, since females rarely fought during this era of Japan. And second, shoving bisexuality onto a female character when during this time it wouldn't have been a thing, or even if it was, it would have been an anecdotal exception. Now, by all means, if you want to add stuff like this to a historical fiction game, go ahead. That is your prerogative. Just don't be surprised when the audience doesn't like it. This just adds to the list of things that could ruin the immersion of the game, makes audiences roll their eyes at the sight of another check off the list. Let me be clear, that kind of stuff in games isn't taboo, but it just doesn't work in games that are supposed to immerse you in a historical setting that take place way further back when stuff like this wasn't as widely accepted. But other than that, in other cases, I don't really care. Overall, based off of what some people who've played this game have said, the gameplay is fine and even enjoyable at times, so long as you don't play the main story or just skip the cutscenes. I don't think I'll be playing this game personally because of the things I've seen, and also just because screw Ubisoft. And honestly, it sucks because I wanted to get into Assassin's Creed games, you know? Since as a kid, I didn't really get to play the game back then because, you know, money was something I didn't have. So I guess if I'm gonna play any of the games, I should just start with the old installments, and since it looks like it's gonna be a while till they make a new good Assassin's Creed game, or till Ubisoft just goes bankrupt and we get no more games, in which case we gotta enjoy it while it lasts. But what did you guys think? Did you agree with some of the things I said in the video, or did you disagree with me? Let me know what you guys think about the game, and if you think it's fun or if it's bad. If you enjoyed this game, by all means, have fun. Don't let me or anybody else stop you. But for the rest of you, I will read the comments, but whether I care or not depends on if it's a waste of my time or if it actually interests me. But yeah, anyways, that's all for now. See ya. Subscribe, bozo.